Welcome to Haunt Weekly.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Haunt Weekly, a weekly podcast for the haunted attraction, haunted entertainment industry. Whether you're an actor, owner, or just plain aficionado, we aim to be a podcast for you. And this week, we come to you with something a little different. An idea, we're going to get into where it came from. I got from somewhere else, admittedly. But we've definitely been talking about it and been wanting to do. We're going to be reading mean haunt reviews. Now, not our own. We'll get into that in just a second. But yes, indeed, we are going to be reading some one-star haunted attraction reviews. So we'll be making fun of some customers, making fun of some haunts, but also talking about the issues that can lead to these too. So it's going to be a little bit of humor, a little bit of serious, a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Some chocolate and some peanut butter in this one. It's going to be fun. But on that note, if that doesn't sound like what you want right now, I do understand. We all have a lot of meanness in our life already. Do feel free to check out any other episode. We have more at hauntweekly.com, Haunt Weekly on Twitter, Haunt Weekly on Facebook, youtube.com/hauntweekly, and wherever you get your podcast from. All right, let's see. Stepping right in. Work we did for our haunt this week was none, unfortunately. We had some ideas of stuff we could do, but ended up not doing it. Just sheer got put aside. The other problem is we ordered a lot of stuff. And it just arrived, as in today. We're recording Monday, as this is going live, pretty much.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff arrived today. So that happened, too. So, yeah, not much to report there. We should have more for next week, though. I think it's going to be a very interesting weekend for us.
Yeah.
On that note, the other thing we do every week is we ask a question a week. And last week, we asked everyone who was either going to Transworld or following it online, wherever they are, what they thought the big thing from Transworld was, and, well, we did get some answers.
Yes, we did. Johnny Bronto Lacombe said the grub from Shattered FX.
No, our mask, the high-end brain mask we have is from Shattered FX.
Yeah.
We can testify to the quality work they do. I had not seen the grub until I actually followed up on this post. So that was interesting. Chris Gay, basically, from what they saw online, the Little Spider Creations booth.
Interesting.
And you know, that's one of the things I did notice is there were a lot of new, to me, haunt vendors.
Yeah, and
in this
smaller
list.
ones,
and
too.
smaller ones, too. So getting a lot of serious reps. So that was interesting and good.
Seems like, someone mentioned recently that
Yeah,
they
we'd
had
like
seen
that. See that trend and see it
Yeah.
continue. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Nah, but that couldn't be. That's impossible.
Christian Risto said the cyber horror by Ryan Visengard.
Yeah, I had to stop a second, too.
And the What FX booth.
The WOTFX group. I have no idea how to actually say that. Just realized.
I don't know. I'd say what the fuck.
What the fuck booth? Yeah, the What the fuck booth. That's them.
No, it's WOTFX.
And also, Maximus Christian Bryant, the furnace flame effect at Froggy's Fog. I actually clicked on the video he linked to.
Yes.
And a few others to see it. This was a holy shit, that's really good moment. Yeah. That effect is good. I don't know how many haunts are going to find use for it, but I know a lot of the business they do is with like theme park rides and so forth. That is a very impressive effect, and without actual fire. It's probably the most realistic looking fake fire I've ever seen.
Yeah. All right, Craig Watt said the original 6.
Okay. Kevin Hopkins, Casket Creations. I had heard a fair amount about Casket Creations from the Grapevine, too. It's a collab between Hallucination Creations and Closed Casket to create customizable props. And basically, it's something I think you actually suggested at one point, where you can kind of customize the look with the function you want it to have and pair it together. It was very interesting stuff.
Yes, and finally for this week, Elysium Black Moth.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff, and not the usual suspects. I mean, yes, Froggy's Fog got to mention, but that furnace flame effect really does deserve the mention. That was truly mind-blowing. And Shadow Effects got to mention in this list too, obviously. But yeah, this was a lot of new to me people. Or like, okay, I am familiar with Hallucination Creations and Closed Casket. I've heard the names at least. But yeah, their new collab project's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's really interesting stuff. All right, well, this week's question of the week, tagging in with the theme we're talking about, is what is your favorite mean review? We're actually going to cover ours at the end.
Yeah.
Because we only have one, because that's one of the frustrations with doing this episode. We only have one, and they clearly have never been here.
Yeah.
It would be hilarious if it weren't so infuriating.
Yeah.
So anyways, but yeah, speaking of all that, I recently went down a rabbit hole. We got started with a Linus Tech Tips video where they were doing a bunch of their hosts read mean tweets about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, we should do that. Mm-hmm. We should find the mean tweets and the mean reviews, and we should cover them about ourselves. So we were originally just going to cover our mean reviews.
Yeah.
That was the original plan. But we had a problem. We don't have a lot of reviews. We're a home haunt, and people don't review home haunts very often.
Right.
And so, therefore, we don't have enough reviews to really do this, especially enough mean ones or enough one-star ones. So, yeah, we didn't really have a way to do that ourselves.
So you will hear the one, though.
Yeah, we will hear the one at the very end. Yeah, we're putting that at the end as a way to make sure you stick with us.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, and I want to be 100% clear before we jump in on this. Mm-hmm. We are not picking on any of the haunts in this list. I'm the one who did the research. I will take the heat for this. Mm-hmm. But I deliberately chose haunts that either I personally know are very good, mm-hmm. as in I've been to them and I will testify it. I will put my hand on whatever book and tell you. Excuse me. Or from people I trust know that they are very good. They are top tier names in the industry, all.
Everybody knows these haunts.
If I said the names, everyone would know them, other than the last one, us, obviously. But yeah. Everyone would know them across the board, no questions. And everyone would have respect for them. And in fact, I pulled all these from Google. Nearly all of them had 4.3 as the average review, which is amazing on Google. Mm-hmm.
Especially whenever you get a lot.
Like hundreds and hundreds. Do. Like we have a 4.5, but it's not nearly impressive. We have only a couple dozen. Yeah. We don't have hundreds or thousands like a lot of these haunts do. So we have the bigger score, but it's cheat. We're cheating. We're cheating.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy us on Amazon if I compared us to somebody with. No,
I would get the 4.3 with the 5,000 reviews.
Exactly.
Rather than 4.5 with 12 reviews or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely agree that 100%. The lowest score we have was a 4.0. Which, once again, with hundreds or thousands of reviews, is still fucking amazing. Mm-hmm. So, all these haunts are great. We are not going to say the haunt names. We are going to leave them out. In fact, we've tried to carefully redact any information that could clue you in. We are going to group them together by haunt, but we may mention the breaks. But we will not mention their names. Now, since we're going to be reading these reviews, obviously, if you want to be a dick, you can go and Google them and figure it out. Yeah. But that is a dick thing to do. Yeah. And that is on you. Yep. I'm not encouraging that behavior because you'll see in a minute what this is really about. The main point of all this is even the best haunts get bad reviews.
Right. And the other thing I noticed when reading through them is that you should be reading your reviews.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of these, the same issue came up for multiple people.
And on a lot of these, one of the things that was genuinely a frustration for me going through and collecting them was the haunt. No one from the haunt was responding. Yeah. Only a few of these actually had regular responses. Yeah. So that was frustrating too. Mm-hmm. Oh, and also the other thing is I tried to pull from the last season, and if not the last season, the year before, I tried to not get the COVID years. Yeah. Basically, because there's a lot of bullshit there that ain't fun.
Yeah, I think we have one COVID year in there.
Yeah, we do. Well, some people do mention...
We'll get to it.
Yeah, people do mention COVID,
eventually.
But yeah. Anyways, but yeah, I tried to pull from recent reviews. Yeah. On that note, are we ready to jump in with unnamed haunt number 1?
Yes.
Let's jump in.
All right. Do not purchase tickets to...
Redacted.
Yes. Information redacted. I purchased $200 worth of tickets in October 2023. They charged my account. Then again, on January 2nd, 2024. Fighting the charges now, they will wait 60 days to retrieve more money from you. Beware!
And the beware obviously is all caps with an exclamation point. Yeah, leading off with this one, because I actually skipped over a lot of reviews for this haunt that mentioned this exact problem.
Yeah.
Because this was one of the times they did respond.
Mm-hmm.
What happened is, whoever the credit card processor was, they had an issue where transactions were put into pending, but never finished.
Right.
Until like sometime crazy amount of time later. People weren't necessarily charged wrong, but they were charged at wildly wrong times.
Yeah, after you're not thinking about haunted houses anymore. You think you've already paid in October, and this person apparently didn't get charged until January.
And so while I understand why this review didn't mention the haunt experience at all,
yeah,
it also didn't mention the haunt experience at all.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, moving on to the next one from the next review. Don't go alone. Pretty boring. Period. You'll be sandwiched between two large groups the entire way, and the actors will entirely ignore you in favor of them. Got almost no interaction except for one funny guy who must have seen my expression, and after getting a nice scream from a couple ahead of me, turned to me and said, maybe come back on a weeknight next year. Not trying to get him in trouble. He was the best part. I skipped the second to try haunted house and went home.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that's going to come up a lot, I think, as we talk about these, or at least briefly discuss them, is sometimes customers got to take partial ownership for the stuff they did here.
Yeah.
Showing up alone at a haunted house, if you want to hang out with a group of friends, you know what I mean?
Well, I think that they thought that they'd be able to get to go through alone, or at least with a very small group instead of being sandwiched between large groups.
And that's a frustration. Also, I would be looking into this actor breaking character, even though this person said it was the best part of the haunt.
Yeah.
I get the feeling from this review that this person was extremely frustrated by the group they were in, and I have been there, believe me.
Yes.
I have been put up, we usually like to go with strangers.
Yeah.
Because we get to see how people who are more normal react to the haunted house, and not us. But I've definitely been in situations where the randos we got paired with really, really hurt the experience. I don't think you can really, put the kibosh on the haunted house for that. Because every haunted house is going to have shit customers. But yeah, I don't know. That's what this is. A pretty understandable view overall, but still. Okay, next up.
All right. Was not scary at all. The actors were lazy. It wasn't dark enough. And it just wasn't it.
Whatever it is in this context, I have no idea.
We got the speed pass, and it wasn't worth it. There's so much I wasn't satisfied about, but I don't feel like wasting my time. And yet, clearly they felt like wasting some of their time because they went to leave that.
Yeah, I mean, this review seems like it's going to actually say something that might be useful.
Yeah.
Like, to prevent future ones, and then they just say nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, geez, thanks.
Oh.
Great job. Woohoo. All right. If you're going here to be scared, why the fuck else would you go to? Anyway, do not come. It's not scary at all. By the way, it was all one sentence. But their gift shop is nice, and it's a cool environment to be in. But what you're seeking for, you will not get. I just realized how hard these are to read out loud with the poor grammar.
Yeah, because I noticed that you left all the grammar mistakes in.
Well, I wanted to get the authentic review experience.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the right thing to do, but Jesus Christ, that's rough. So it rolls off the mouth like a socket set. Christ. Once again, if you're... Okay, so they didn't find it scary. No two people are going to find a haunt the same amount of scary.
Right.
What's scary to one person is not scary to another. Everyone comes to this with different phobias, different buttons, whatever. And so she didn't find it scary. Fine, but it sounds like, or he or she, actually, I don't remember anything about this review because I have all the information removed. But this person did not find it scary. Fine. It sounds like they were at very least entertained. They mentioned it was a good gift shop, a cool environment.
Yeah.
I don't know. That sounds like a fucking decent evening to me.
That doesn't sound like it should be a 1-star review.
It sounds like it should be a 3-star, maybe, or 4-star, or low 4, or high 2. Something in the middle-ish,
Yeah. But not a 1.
Not a 1.
That just seems like a dick move
if
you actually enjoyed it.
Exactly.
At all.
Exactly.
All right. This was one of the worst haunted houses I have ever visited. The hype is so big and it just doesn't live up. We paid for the fast pass, which was worth it, but there were way too many people in the haunt at the same time. In it, we were literally just walking in a single file line between other groups. The actors were not very enthusiastic. We saw someone changing into their costume. One of the actors walked past us with their cell phone out carrying a thermos. I was really sad when I was walking through because it's information redacted and you expect it to be amazing. And I was looking forward to it so much. So when it turned out to be so underwhelming, I was very, very sad. If you are a haunted house enthusiast, I do not recommend it.
Randomly capitalized in that? I didn't do that.
I know. I don't know. I'm not this person. Even though their props and costume set pieces and makeup were excellent.
So, and this one's interesting to pick apart because they obviously had a conga line issue, which means they obviously went on a very busy night.
Yeah.
To customers that do not enjoy or really hate that experience, do what we do. Because we're not fond of that either.
Nope.
But we prioritize going on Thursday and Sunday nights to haunted houses or early in the season.
Yeah. And it's, if you're a big enthusiast of haunted houses,
you would know this.
You
and
would
then do
know
it
this.
Instinctively.
Yes. You would know. Go on a weeknight. Look to see if they're open on Sunday, because that's another less busy night.
Look to see if they have a night they open up earlier than other nights. That's oftentimes a great time. We've pulled that game a few times.
Go early in the season.
Yeah.
I mean, these things are easy.
Yeah, these are fairly simple things. And it's like, but this person admits that the props, costumes, set pieces, and makeup were excellent.
Yeah.
Just in that one lesson, bam, blows through all that. All that stuff that was great. 1 stars it because of the conga line and the fact the issue of actors being out of pocket and in costume and not having actor ones. This sounds like it could be a haunt design problem where you don't have a way to get actors in and out of slots very quickly.
Yeah.
And having done backstage tours of haunts, I've seen some very creative solutions to this problem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, not the haunt here. Rise locally literally has a whole system above the haunt. Yeah. You just drop actors into.
Exactly.
Like parachute them in. And Hell's Gate, as we know, also not the haunt in the review, has that big spine they can slide actors into in any scene.
Exactly.
So we've seen different solutions to this problem, and that sounds like they might need one of those. But other than that, it sounds like this person actually enjoyed nearly everything about the haunt, was just frustrated by it being crowded and a few actors being out of pocket.
Yeah, and honestly, I get frustrated with actors out of pocket.
I do too.
Whenever I see them going through, because we are quiet and slow moving, so our pace is not necessarily the one that's expected.
Yeah.
If you're timing your, scares by sounds and stuff.
Exactly. And I mean, I don't know. I have very little way to judge if the actors were basically they being saying that they were like lazy and not performing. Mm-hmm. I would also ask, when in the night did you go? Yeah. Because if you were like one of the last groups for closing,
especially later in season.
Or if they're in Hell Week and it's like 10:30 p.m. and they're shutting down hard at midnight at 11. Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Anyways, moving on. Last one for this haunt. Literally one of the worst experiences I've had at a haunted house. Took my teenager there. Oh, there's our problem.
It's part of it.
And expected to have an okay time. An okay time.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of haunted houses, but figured I'd just go to check it out. I wish I hadn't. One of the employees continued to follow me and my daughter through the experience. One of the actors reached out and touched my daughter, even though they slated they had a no-touch policy. That is a serious issue there.
Yeah.
After that, we were pretty much over the whole ordeal, so we decided to ask one of the employees for the exit. Instead of helping us politely, they took a picture of us and simply walked away. That dumbfounded and at this point extremely frustrated, we kept going through the haunted house, only to be met by a literal rat scurrying past us. Disgusted, confused, and exhausted, we finally found our way out of the nearest exit. Overall, one of the worst places I've been. I certainly won't be returning.
Yeah, now this one actually has some issues that the haunt needs to address.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why they wouldn't have. But yeah, if
The act
you're a
of
no
touching,
touch and you touch someone,
especially a teenager.
yes, they have a right to complain. Like, anytime you touch somebody and you say you're not going to touch them, people have the right to complain.
Accidental bumping will happen in no-touch haunts.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of being in crowded, dark places.
Yeah.
But a deliberate touch, yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah. As soon as someone says they want out, that they're done, get them out.
Yeah.
Don't leave them in there. They're just going to get more mad and more pissed off and start writing this review in their head on the way out.
I seriously, if I were running this haunt, once again, well-reviewed haunt, top-tier haunt in the country, reviews of it are overall amazing. We had to sort by lowest in order to find these.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I were this haunt, I would be figuring out what's going on. The rat, I don't give a shit about. I live in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Haunts are typically in warehouse buildings.
Yeah.
A rat may wander in.
Yeah.
That's life. I'm sorry.
In a haunt, I would be like, ooh, I wonder if it got out of the cage. Maybe they're missing a rat.
Just like the snakes.
Exactly.
So yeah, but that's it for Unnamed Haunt number 1.
All right.
Now we're on to Unnamed Haunt number 2. Oh, I do this one, huh? Or do you do this one?
I think I do.
Go for it. Do it.
Okay.
Just do it.
Honestly, really not worth it. Long lines, and we were waiting for about 4 hours, and then when we got in, it only took about 30 to 40 minutes. Plus, they don't have space out the group that much. The group behind us had a girl that kept grabbing onto us to hide, and she left marks on us, and then they rushed us into the group in front of us, and then the actors just looked tired and like they needed a break.
Well, I'm going to say this. If they're running enough of a line to have a 4-hour queue, they probably were tired and needed a break.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that's probably just an accurate fucking statement. They're human beings, goddammit.
Exactly.
Whenever I see, and the complaints about long queue lines come up a lot in multiple haunts in this.
Yeah.
I always, when I read those reviews, I kind of want to split the blame a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because on one hand, I'm willing to bet this person showed up on one of the busiest days of the year and was shocked to learn that there was a long line.
Yeah.
But the other side of the coin is it's going to be very hard using traditional haunt queuing to keep people engaged and entertained for 4 fucking hours.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, in general, 15-minute wait, I don't even notice. 30-minute wait, I start to notice. An hour wait, now you're digging a hole you got to get out of. Anything after that, you're just watching that mental review score go down.
Yeah.
So 4 hours is an incredibly long amount of time. I get that. And we as an industry do need to do better. We've seen better initiatives here, like Camp Blood. We talked about them and their system. What was that other one in Atlanta that did it? I
remember which one you're talking about. I don't remember the name.
Yeah, I can look
that
it up in our notes.
Long ago.
Yeah, but we've done multiple haunts where basically you're all let into a fair where you can buy things, get food, wander around, play carnival games, do stuff like that. And then when you're close to time to go in, they'll call you for a short cattle gate time.
Yeah, and one did that as a PA system over the crowd, and one did it as a cell phone text.
Yeah, and either are fine. I mean, I can see how these systems are more complicated and break down, but they do the amazing thing, like what Disney largely was trying to do for a time, of letting you do other things while waiting, especially letting you spend money while you're waiting. So yeah, like I said, I kind of split this here. It seems like the real frustration was the wait, and that is a long wait. I'm not going to lie. And also, they once again, this is a review and a bitching about the randos they got thrown in with.
Yeah, it is. We've had people run into and grab onto us, and it's not a fun or pleasant experience.
Yeah.
And if you're already pissed off about waiting in line for so long, there's just no way for the haunt to recover
and that experience that this person described, where they had someone digging nails into them, I've had that. Had that at at a house locally that doesn't operate anymore. But someone got scared, got behind me, and I think they wanted to bear hug me, but decided that might be too intimate.
Yeah.
So instead, just sunk their claws into me the whole way, like right into my ribs,
No.
while I'm trying to breathe. And
Yeah, but I mean, for a 30 to 40 minute walkthrough, I can count probably on my hands the number of times we've seen a haunt that has that long of a walkthrough. I'm actually pretty impressed.
yeah,
by
30
that.
foot only. Yeah, it only took 30 to 40 minutes. That only does not belong there.
No, exactly.
That is a very good time to walk through.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think like if we look at the haunts we went through last season, it's less than one hand's worth. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next review. Okay. The props and layout was really cool. I give them that. But I paid almost $200 for VIP and ended up in line while going through, so didn't get the jump scares, and jump scares are didn't get the jump scares or I guess that's supposed to be an or scared at all. Was really disappointed as I heard it was the best haunt and blah blah blah. Was very disappointed. Disappointed!
Exactly.
Drove 3 hours to get scared. Will not recommend.
To not get scared.
Do not get scared. Yeah, will not recommend. Now, I remember which haunt this is now, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But where the fuck did you drive 3 hours from?
I don't know.
Because it wasn't any of the towns, like, really close to it. I can tell you that much.
No.
Anyway, I get that. Okay, I get, and being familiar with this haunt line, I feel bad because this was the one you had me correct the redaction on. Because I did not do a very good job on it. So unfortunately, it's still somewhat fresh in my mind. But yeah, this was. But yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
No.
With this one, it's like you made the choice to drive that far for a haunted attraction. We do it all the time. We're mad lads.
Yeah.
We don't encourage anyone to be like us. We don't want imitators, man.
No.
We don't think you should do that. We're nuts. We are certifiably insane. Please do not do what we do. Get another hobby. Please. You will be happier in the long run.
I think you're talking to the wrong people.
I know, I'm talking to the wrong goddamn people. All of our listeners went... But yeah, no, I mean, you made the choice. And while I definitely understand, the frustration in deciding it wasn't worth it, you also are blaming the haunt for decisions you made.
Yeah.
And I've said before in haunt reviews that this haunt is probably worth it if you're in town or somewhere close by. But I wouldn't say it's worth it if you're coming from further away. I've said that in reviews. That's a fair thing to say. But yeah, one of the reasons you're 1-starring it is because you chose to drive 3 hours. That just seems like horseshit to me.
Yeah. All right. The ultimate railroad experience. Don't waste the time unless you have an entire evening and money to waste. Me and 4 friends showed up almost an hour before opening, and the line was already 100 people long, not counting the VIP line, which is separate. We upgraded our tickets to VIP so we wouldn't have to wait hours in the regular line. The VIP line was thankfully short, but they don't separate groups of people, then send through. They grouped us with 6 other people, then sent everyone through in what was essentially a continuous line. The front of our dozen-person group was directly behind the people that went in front of us, and there was another group immediately behind us. We were literally touching, and it's hard to be scared or even appreciate the production value when it's just one solid line of people, start to finish, being pushed through the haunted house. Between the 5 of us, we paid $300 to be disappointed and sweaty. Absolutely not worth the time or money. Stick to smaller attractions with smaller groups.
Or try other things in the area, basically.
Yeah.
Which I had to quickly redact. Yeah. I'm going to guess, because once again, I do remember, this is the one I do remember other than us now because of my mistake earlier, that they went on one of the busiest nights.
Yeah.
At this particular haunt,
I think that's just going to be a theme of most of the ones who are complaining about
the lines and the conga lining.
Now, if we're complaining, that's different because we know all the tips and tricks that we shouldn't be there at a busy time or what would normally be a busy time.
Like one of the gripes we had about New Orleans Nightmare, not the haunt here.
No,
but one of the gripes we had about New Orleans Nightmare was that even though we did show up at an odd time. Mm-hmm. We showed up like on a random Thursday when we showed up early in the night or fairly early in the night and whatever. And the line was not long in terms of the number of people.
Yeah.
We were still in that line for a very long amount of time. Now, granted, we were rewarded with that by great group separation.
Yeah.
We didn't see another motherfucker or not.
Yeah.
So,
and that is a way to counter some of that. But if you have people waiting and their conga line through like it was when it was House of Shock, then you've got an issue.
Yeah. But the thing is, some of these haunts do get so popular that happens.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't know what any of the haunts are that we're talking about.
Yeah.
I read the notes. I didn't read the review. I didn't look up the reviews.
No. Yeah. I know the haunts I chose, but I completely forgot the order.
Gotcha.
I remember which haunts I picked, but I have no idea the order I put them in. So
yeah,
I'm good like that.
All right.
Next one up. The place was excellent, says the 1-star review.
Yeah.
Just that's your lead into the 1-star review. Mm-hmm. The place was excellent. Mm-hmm. The actors did a great job. Once again, 1-star review. But it is all for naught. If they stack the groups less than 30 seconds apart, we could not enjoy the thrills because the other groups sprang them too close to our group time and time again. We slowed down to a halt and was able to enjoy a little of the thrills, but the other groups slowed down even more. It was so frustrating. Also, the VIP line was a lot slower than normal. I'm not used to the VIP line being slow at all. If you pay extra, it's not to wait. Then again, maybe the other line was so long, they had to go fast to get the entire crowd through the experience. We did not get there until 9:30. Oh. Mm-hmm. So maybe that is an issue. An earlier arrival might have solved the issue. Well, no fucking shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Arriving earlier, arriving on off days. We've said it before.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Like, compared to the review we just did, and this is all the same place.
Yeah.
This one sounds like, okay, yeah, you had some frustrating randos in front of you that were not letting you get the separation you wanted. I get that. That's frustrating. But the fact is, you had separation. It's just you might have had that bad of a group in front of you.
Yeah.
It might have been nothing the haunt could have done. I mean, because...
Well, and I do like that they took some of the blame on themselves because they realized that maybe they should have gotten there, earlier.
Yeah, they were at least cognizant that they made some decisions here that may have had an impact. And even though it's still a 1-star review, and of course that hurts the average and has the impact and all that, you're right. The review at least tries to take some... Anyways, moving on.
All right. We waited 4 hours in line and it didn't even make halfway to the entrance. Tens, if not hundreds of people cut line, which added numerous minutes and probably hours to the already slow-moving line. After 4 hours of waiting, we had to leave due to a flight back to Tennessee. We were given no refund and angry responses from the company who hosts this. I wish we could give this place 0 stars. If you're ever in
the
region, do yourself a favor and skip this.
Yeah, I didn't think that would be indicative, but I just realized it might be.
Yeah. Redacted, where you are treated better and the lines are much more professionally managed.
Which I want to say is hilarious, because the haunt name I redacted there is actually the name of a haunt that's in one of the other 4 we're looking at. So the redacted haunt that they said so much better than this one also has a shit ton of mean reviews that we're talking about. Yeah. My question here is, why would you go to an event without a dedicated end time? Mm-hmm. When you have a hard flight, having a hard out like that.
Yeah.
That's such a weird thing.
It is.
Because here's the thing. Let's say it hadn't been a huge line, a huge problem. I have never experienced the issues they're describing at this haunt.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say that they got into the haunt, everything was great, and they just loved it so much they stayed for 4 hours. They're still not getting the full experience.
No.
You know what I mean? Anyways, next haunt. We got to move on because I'm realizing we might go long.
Yeah, or may have to
come back and do more.
Yeah, do more later.
Okay.
All right.
We have visited once before and can say that from what we saw that the attraction itself is amazing. Repeat, this is a 1-star review.
Mm-hmm.
What is not is their highly unfair rain cancellation policy. We drove 4 hours, rented hotel rooms, only to find that they canceled the event for what seems like very little rain. After that, the only options they provide is to reschedule your visit. There is no refund. This seems very unfair and makes it highly difficult for people who live far away to schedule visits to this haunted attraction. I would strongly advise anyone who visits, do not pay for your tickets in advance.
Okay.
And I'm just going to say, your last line of the review just solved your problem as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. They can only control so much about the cancellation policy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that they had this cancellation policy where immediately everyone got refunded.
Yeah.
You bought tickets, you were coming tonight, and since you were scheduled to come, you get an immediate refund, you can rebook, or you get a coupon to rebook, right?
Yeah, the only option they currently provide is a rescheduling.
Yeah, but even if it was a perfect policy, that's what I'm saying, that still leaves you on the hook for your travel, your hotel,
for
everything else. That they can't help that.
No.
And that is unfortunate. I mean, because you're right, that does discourage. And events that can get rained out, both fully outdoor events or events with outdoor components, they can get rained out. And there are a lot of indoor haunts, including a couple locally, that can get rained out because they have significant outdoor elements. The haunt is doing what they can here. They might be able to argue that they should offer refunds since they have scheduled tickets. They seem to have scheduled ticketing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it feels like they're being blamed more for the hotel and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I think that, I would also ask, does the haunt send out like a text message or something that people are going to be alerted as soon as it's decided that they can't open that day?
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, well then that's kind of on you.
Yeah, I would encourage any haunt that can be canceled due to rain to take every step they can to treat customers impacted by that cancellation fairly and with very, very gentle touch. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, there's nothing that I can do and nothing that they can do.
Yeah. All right. The worst one I've been to all season. Barely any actors. Far too bright and easy to see everything coming. Definitely designed for kids. They push large groups through, so it's far too easy to see everything coming. The stores and food vendors are outrageously prices. The food is horrible. Save your money and go to McDonald's. It would taste better. Actually,
don't go to McDonald's. Everyone's bitching about McDonald's prices now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know what to add to this one. Once again, though, I bet they went on a busy night. Large groups become a necessity. Mm-hmm. When you have a large crowd of people, you have to increase throughput. One of the ways haunts can control throughput is group size. Mm-hmm. That's all I can say. So next review. The worst haunted house experience ever. I have no idea this place has so many good reviews. After COVID, this spot has just gone downhill. They barely have any scare actors working. Went through the haunted houses, and each house there were about 3 workers max. Some of the houses only had 1. I highly doubt that. The whole experience was so boring. I am truly disappointed. Disappointed! Also, on top of that, the staff and security is so rude and disrespectful. They will not answer any questions. Avoid this place. Not worth the drive or the price.
So this is the second one where they've mentioned a lack of actors
Yeah.
being, at this one.
Once again, I don't remember which haunt this is.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't. I managed to forget all of them but one that I fucked up. So I don't know which haunt I pulled these from. This is why you drink. I'm kidding. But yeah, I'm 100% sure, knowing the types of haunts I found, this is a gross exaggeration.
Yeah.
And I just feel like this is unfair. So yeah, I don't really know what to think of it, but yeah. Once again, this haunt, I can tell you, has a 4.3 review on Google on average. Clearly, this person is in a minority.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Last one for this haunt.
Yes, last one for this haunt. The entire experience was a complete disaster. We got there on time, 8 p.m. We stood in long line for 3 hours. It was a long, cold wait. The hayride was too crowded. Uncomfortably and chilly. You could sit anywhere you want. I had to sit down on the ground. It was so hard. It was painful to stand up. The lazy carnies tried to avoid interaction. That alone was not worth the ticket price. They emphasized the importance of no touching, but we were sprayed by water from a glass door. I know.
I have no idea what the fuck happened. They're saying happened for the record. I've been trying to figure that one out ever since I found it.
And that's not touching. That's not. No. I know we were carefully targeted. We refused to be silenced. We are ready to take action. Yeah, this is a confusing. I don't know.
Okay. We're gonna ignore how they were sprayed by water, but it sounds like they were lightly sprayed by water.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume it wasn't like a bucket of water dumped on them or something. They used the word sprayed, and I'm sure they would have used the word drowned or something if it had been more than a few dribbles.
Yeah.
That's not touching.
No, it's not. Touching someone with a feather duster is not touching either.
Using hanging things from the ceiling like fishing line or guts or whatever. It's not touching.
No.
These are ways you incorporate a touch effect without touching.
Yes.
That's the whole fucking point of this.
Yeah.
It's why you do that.
Mm-hmm.
The word caring gets so overused.
Yeah, but I think I think that this person's definitely
earning it.
Yeah, I don't think that they knew what they were getting in for.
This has a real let me speak to your manager vibe to it, and I hate it.
It does.
All right, next haunt. Yeah, I think we can actually get... No, we can't.
Go.
Okay, next one. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
I just lost my place.
There you go.
Okay, there we are. This is a new haunt. These scares are just not there. They have a big building with very few workers that scare you. Not only that, I believe I'd rather wait in line longer than to be grouped with a whole bunch of people walking through a haunted house, not being scared. You pay $35 plus fees and not be scared one time is disappointing. The layout is cool, but was disappointing as far as being scared. That is so fucking hard to read.
Yeah.
Jesus, dude, I need to rest now.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Once again, what some person finds
Weak. Wouldn't scare my 7-year-old. This place was very cool and had awesome props, but the actors belong in a backyard show, not one spook or scare.
Yeah, come to our backyard show and see what you get, babe. Come on. Actually, I don't know who this person is, but
yeah.
Anyways.
Definitely not worth the money. I scared 3 of the workers. Don't waste your money unless you're easier to scare.
Hey, don't scare the workers. I mean, just don't do that. That's not why
I don't know if that was accidental either.
Yeah, they didn't mention
possible.
that. Both of these are talking about how it's not scary and whatnot. And it's like, once again, what is scary to one person? I would ask, okay, if you weren't scared, were you entertained the whole way through?
Mm-hmm.
So if you were entertained, there's still value in the experience. You may not have gotten the experience you went in wanting, but you still got an experience. Anyways, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, weak.
No, that was the one I did.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Damn it. I really like that intro. This place used to be the best years ago. We went last night and it was so bad that I want to take them to small claims court. We'll never go back again in my life. They don't actually say why it's bad. That's the entire review.
Yep.
I have nothing to go off of here.
All right. Next one.
Yes.
Staff was rude and not thrilled to actually scare people. If you've been once back in the day, I wouldn't bother to go again because nothing's changed.
Okay, but it sounds like by the use of the term back in the day, that it was scarier back in the day.
Well, and the one, if you pair it with the one before it, it was supposed to be scarier back in the day, or two before. But it's not now, but nothing's changed. I don't think they grammar.
I'm very confused by the messaging here between these. Like you said, there's no consistency here. Okay. Unbelievably overrated. Picture your local apple orchard haunted house, then make it a half-mile walk. Whoever says this place is actually scary and they do a great job is lying to you. It's honestly a great place to bring your elementary school age child, as they will think it's fun and a little spooky. If you're looking for an actual haunted house, this is not it. You know, once again, not every haunt needs to aim for the maximum scare factor.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right.
And finally,
last
for this
one. For this one. Wear your mask. This was my first haunted house, and it was fun. I guess I don't scare easily. The amount of things that touched my face was alarming, and I wanted to turn back, and I should have, but I didn't. My entire family is now paying for that mistake. If you're gonna go, have a blast, but be safe and mask up.
Now, the thing that gets me about this one is they make it very clear that it's things that touch their face.
Yes, and that they had fun.
And that they had fun. This is a 1-star review. So this was not actors making deliberate contact or breathing on them or doing anything.
No.
It was things touching the face. And yes, things can carry disease. I know. That's one of the things we learned in COVID. But what? Just wood? All right. Last, no, wait, this isn't,
we're in the next one now.
Yeah. Okay, yep, next one, next haunt. My family came here last night in hopes to get a good scare since it was supposed to be one of the scariest haunted houses in the U.S. It was by far the least scariest I've been to! Exclamation point. Not only was it probably the worst I've ever been to and way overpriced, but you exit out and they have you go through a bunch of bubbles that just pissed everybody off because now you're all wet from the knees down going to straight cold. Okay, that actually is bad. I swear I would rather just went to a school haunted house in my area instead of driving over an hour to this horrible clown show never again. Okay, I'll give them a point for the wet from the knees down into the cold. That would suck.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you that one. I don't remember which haunt this is, but yeah, being wet and then being cold would suck.
Yeah.
All right, next up.
Right. Waste of money and time. Waited 3 hours in line, even getting there shortly after 6:30 to then wait in another line for another 30 to 45 minutes to make it in the house and still be caught in lines. The last room was loaded with bubbles. 0 warnings anywhere that you're going to be wet. We were all soaked from the waist down and then had to walk back to our car freezing. Didn't waste any more time to wait for any souvenirs because it was just rooms full of spirit Halloween decorations, lousy actors, just repeating lines. We heard one actor just swap between 2 lines, and in the time it took us to walk through, heard the rotation 3 times, not very scary, super disappointed, and understand why they have no refund signs posted. They go bankrupt giving money back.
Once again, highly reviewed, top tier haunt. I don't remember which one, but it's it's one you know.
Yeah.
Guarantee that. Yeah. Yeah.
There's just a lot in there to unpack.
There's a lot to unpack. Once again, I'm going to give everyone that mentions to being wet and cold at the same time a pass because that is probably reasonable. That's something the haunt should have thought of. Let's be honest. I take that criticism. I would take that criticism on the chin if I were those guys.
Yeah.
But when did you go?
Yeah.
The waiting in line significant amount of time. When did you go? Did you pay for VIP? What did you do to reduce your wait time?
Mm-hmm.
Is my next question. Yeah, and obviously a lot of this is just an exaggeration.
Yeah, I'm positive that it was not full of spirit Halloween props.
I'm 1,000% sure of that.
Yeah.
Because I remember the pool I pulled from.
Yeah.
Don't remember the order. None of these are going to have spirit props in them.
Nope.
I can assure you of that much. Why ask how many people are in a group when you force everyone to go all at once?
That's a good point.
That's actually a valid point there. I mean, I got to give you that one. It was crowded with everyone outside our group. We were unable to look or see props when we kept getting pushed, or they say rushed, but I'm guessing they meant pushed, by other. Period. It was not even scary for $35 a person, and we definitely not informed that there was a bypass for the bubbles. If I could give 0 stars, I would. Man, the bubbles really did piss a lot of people off.
They did.
And honestly, I'm on their side.
Yeah.
If you're
apparently this person found out there was a bypass afterwards.
Well, like we did about the blackout maze that Holly went to and then went...
Yeah, exactly.
Moving on.
All right. Makes sense that they won't do refunds. You spend $35 to go and get there and see 3-hour-long line. Tried calling to see how long the line was or to maybe upgrade my ticket to Fast Pass, but the robot wouldn't even let me talk to anybody. Don't waste your money on a haunted house. They copied the Freddy Krueger story.
I love that there's a plagiarism accusation and they're just to fuck with me. That was purely to fuck with me. This review would not exist if it were not, hey, let's fuck with that Jonathan guy. I know, I just see them on the keyboard. Yeah, oh wait, he's gonna be fucked with this one.
Yes, I'm sure it's all about you.
Damn right, I am the main character.
Well, you are one of the 4 horsemen.
Yes, we discussed this. But oh my god, no, obviously not just ripping off the Freddy Krueger story.
No.
Haunted houses don't offer refunds as standard practice because it is not practical to.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically... any refund system is heavily prone to abuse. We have seen it before. We've seen it again. Having no refunds as the default policy is the smart way to go. Anyways, and the last one from this one, then we'll just skip the last one I had queued because we're running short on time.
Yeah, we may just pick 1 or 2 from it.
Okay, we'll do that. Okay, we waited in line for 3 hours to get inside and wait for 30 more minutes inside of the house, and there was a literal line going through there too. The last room you get soaked from the waist down because of a foam room. I would give it 0 stars if I could. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I will never return. Waste of $70. I think this haunt needs to pay attention to the complaints about the bubbles.
The bubbles and the 3-hour waits.
Figure out your queuing, yeah.
Almost everybody said a 3-hour wait. All right, next one. If it wasn't so packed and the line wasn't so long, I would have liked it. But I waited 2 hours in line and a few animatronic jumps, airs in really cramped space with 30 other people. Also, I spent $40 to wait on a 2-hour line that had to wait and another line midway in the attraction. I honestly could have gotten this experience from another haunted house for cheaper.
Once again, we've covered it. Complaints about the line, complaints about being crowded in with people.
Mm-hmm.
Really disappointing experience. I was trying to hype myself up so I could get scared, but I only got spooked a few times. What really ruined, I mean, it's obviously ruined, but the experience was that when you went, there were clumps of groups. So if you were behind someone, the actors would scare them first, and then you would already know what's coming. The props and the gift shop were really nice, but the overall experience wasn't worth it. Both of these, really are not that down on the haunt itself. You know what I mean? They're complaining about being crowded. They're complaining about missing scares because of crowds. And they're complaining about wait times. Yeah. But the complaints about the haunt itself seem pretty muted in those. And just a thought.
Yeah. And, the next one's basically the same of that.
Yeah.
But that person decided to take 10 people with them and then complained that their group was overcrowded. So.
All right, and we'll just do the last two for this one, because that one was a long one.
Yeah.
There was more. Oh, so you do the next one,
Okay.
since you summarized that one.
There was more than one time that a worker was rude to me last night. They kept having smart mouths with me and kept screaming at me and my boyfriend. Scary haunted house, but rude employees, and not worth the money to be having disrespectful employees.
Excuse me, kind person who wrote this review. I have a question. The gallery has a question.
Mm-hmm.
Were the quote-unquote rude employees haunt actors trying to interact with you?
Yeah, exactly.
If so, that's their fucking job!
Yeah.
It's like going to Dick's Last Resort going, everyone here was a fucking asshole to me.
Yeah, no shit.
Jesus Christ. Do not do the redacted pass. We spent hundreds last year to go in a group only to have our boss targeted, and they forgot about us. Only one actor said her name. No refund either. Other than that, it's a good house. And now I remember which haunt this is, because I remember that review and what I had to redact.
Uh-huh.
Now I remember the ones we just did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an excellent haunt. I'm just going to say you now. But this one, it was like, other than that, it's a good house.
Yeah.
Well, not a me, man. 1-star review. But other than that, it's a good house.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're doing our 1-star review real fast.
Yeah.
That's what we're ending on. Do you want to read it or you want me to read it?
Whichever.
I'm just going to take it verbatim.
Yep.
Trap house at the end of a cutoff. It's a sideshow, all right. Looks like you go in and you're opening yourself to get robbed. My boyfriend PTSD was triggered. Be safe out there, people. PPL. This place was a scam, and to have it listed on Google is just plain irresponsible. Beware.
Yes. With swirly eye face.
Yeah. And the thing is, nothing in that review describes us.
No, we're not on the cutoff.
No,
we're
not at the
on
end
the
of
court.
anything.
No.
We're very much in the middle of the court.
Yeah.
So it's not like, we're at the end of a road that's super desolate. I want to know where the fuck they went.
I don't know. I have a guess, but I'm not going to say it here because we're not naming names.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely not us.
That is not us. Because, it sounds almost like they went to the end of, English Turn or some shit.
Yeah, or somewhere.
Yeah, and there is another haunt in the area this could potentially describe, but even that is kind of a very weak descriptor of this haunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And also, my boyfriend PTSD was triggered. You took someone with PTSD to a haunted house?
Yeah, or were they triggered by going to the end of a cutoff and thinking they're going to get robbed?
Yeah,
maybe they had PTSD from being robbed.
Yeah, actually, they didn't take him to a haunted house, quite obviously.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I really genuinely think that this person either got bad directions and went somewhere very different nearby, which there are places that this does describe in the area.
Yeah.
But nowhere near our exact house. Or they went to another house that, once again, if I stretch my brain, this describes.
Yeah.
But that is a major stretch in my brain.
Yeah, and I mean, we're the only ones on this side of the river.
Yeah. Yeah, we're West Bank.
Yeah. That's in New Orleans area.
Yeah.
New Orleans proper.
Yeah, in New Orleans Metro, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have no idea.
No.
I have no idea where the fuck they went, and I hope they got the help they so desperately needed.
Yeah. All right.
On that note, everyone, thank you very much for joining us for this. Hopefully there was some laughs and some educational stuff taking place here. Please do check out other episodes of Haunt Weekly. We're at hauntweekly.com, Haunt Weekly on Twitter, Haunt Weekly on Facebook, and youtube.com/Haunt Weekly. Until next time, though, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And...
And we will see you all next week.
Maybe we'll do nice reviews or something. I don't know. Could be fun. See y'all then.